Hey everybody, Garrett and Ridiculous Hat here, and we're going to be talking about Hearthstone Mercenaries with some folks that have worked on Hearthstone Mercenaries, specifically Nathan Lyon Smith and Joe Killian, returning here to the Angry Chicken podcast. Thanks for joining us today, you two.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're excited. By the time anyone hears this, we'll be able to say this. Yeah, we just got to try Mercenaries, and really, as thankful as we are for this interview, kind of just sitting here like wanting to get back to play it. So, but really stoked to get to pick your brains about it. I know you wanted to kick us off with some kind of general questions, so I'm going to throw to you to start things off.
Yeah, well, so we've gotten a chance to experience Mercenaries for 2 hours, which is barely scratched the surface, and the endgame accounts that were there are dizzying with complexity. There's a lot going on here, but I think if we talk about complexity, Nathan, I want to talk to you about the client. You've been adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff to Hearthstone as a platform for quite some time now. There's so much more to do in Hearthstone. You can kind of be a variety streamer without changing programs now. Like you can switch buttons and modes and you move it around, and I go look for the battlegrounds in the modes menu all the time now. Are you concerned with the growth of client scope, or are there plans going forward to like refactor and stabilize, including like maybe mobile optimizations as well?
Yes to all of those things. And you've seen some of them happen already. When we started settling on the Mercenaries date for this year, we also kicked off a number of projects to make sure this could be a really successful moment for us. And part of that was changing the first-time user experience. And so we spun up a team, said, hey, go update that. We don't want players to have to go through the somewhat lengthy Hearthstone tutorial in order to play Mercenaries or Battlegrounds. And Hearthstone is 7 years old now, and still has got a lot of players, but we haven't really touched this part of the code or the game, and that took longer than you would think. And so we told them, you have to hit the patch before Mercenaries. We are not sim shipping this with Mercenaries. If there's a problem, we're going to fix it before Mercenaries. And so, the last big patch we did, you saw the change to the home screen as a way to honestly improve the client experience for players getting into the mode. On top of that, behind the scenes, there have been changes to performance and optimization, and that's a challenge to overcome while you're also adding stuff all the time. And so the work we've done seems like somewhat transparent because just more content, more features are going in all the time. And so as we've been maintaining parity. Earlier this year, we staffed an additional team to go focus only on mobile performance. And a couple months ago, we looked at their backlog, looked at their priorities and said, go do all of this stuff. It's going to be super awesome. And as a predominantly mobile player, second screen on the couch, watching baseball, like this matters a lot to me. And I want to make sure we're funding it and delivering on that great mobile experience for players. And it's always hey, we're adding a bunch of things. We have to do more than just keep parity. We have to go chip away at improving it, because where we were 6 years ago in the mobile client launch, there's a bunch of other, just more polished, more modern mobile clients. And our players are expecting more and more of that out of Hearthstone, and we want to deliver.
Yeah, seeing the main menu revamp really feels like you're calling your shots, like seeing what is at the top level of the main menu. It's been really cool getting in there and seeing that refresh.
There was a lot of discussion on what to call that button. As you can imagine, and
some passionate debate.
Oh yeah. Constructed felt if you knew what that meant, this was good for you. But if you were new to Hearthstone or you're new to card games, well, what does that word mean, right? And so we didn't feel like that was the best. I think the other thing that made it into the client and we play tested and then got feedback for was like deck battles. Right, which just didn't feel as inspiring. It was maybe a little more descriptive of what you're doing. And so I was actually a big fan of call it Hearthstone. Sure, you'll get the community folks that are, our longtime players joking and poking fun at us, but it's probably the best of the answers we came up with. And, I keep an eye on the community. I haven't seen a better suggestion that we think achieves all of our goals come up yet. And so I still feel pretty good about that.
I still hit modes when I'm trying to go to Battlegrounds. So, still getting used to it. But
there's, speaking of changes in different modes, Joe, not that long ago, you were in the Barons video on the constructed side. You have worn quite a few hats this year. So when did you jump into the Merc side, and how big of a seismic shift was that to go from like the more mature game mode to the brand new thing?
Yeah, I mean, right around the time that we were wrapping up Barons and getting ready to ship all that, I kind of transitioned over to start working on designing Mercenaries and helping out with all that. It's definitely like a very big shift. I mean, like you mentioned, standard Hearthstone has, tons of years of like experienced designers on the team with like all these card sets that you can look at for inspiration and kind of build off those, themes. And then we came to Mercenaries and it's like a blank slate to work with. And while it's kind of difficult, like, you throw all these ideas at the wall and pick the best ones, it's really exciting because we got to, try out all these crazy new ideas. I mean, like in standard Hearthstone, it's hard to introduce crazy new concepts all the time because, there's some level of, standardization that you need, and everyone needs to be on the same playing field and understand everything. But with Mercenaries, we were able to just start going crazy. So we came up with like all of these different concepts, new keywords and things like that. I think one of the ones that's pretty obvious and you can start seeing in the starter team is Deathblow. That was actually, we used Overkill for a long, long time. But, after playing a bunch, we found that hitting something and not getting that like 1 or 2 extra damage to hit the Overkill just wasn't satisfying. And so we changed to Deathblow, and it feels a lot better. So, I mean, Mercenaries has just been a lot of iteration and finding those cool, fun moments and mechanics that we can tie into.
I guess you can't just call it kill. That would be bad. So Deathblow seems like it's better.
You gotta have some of that theme, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here? What's the excitement? I got the Deathblow, right? And +1 to Joe's comment here, like Overkill was there because we had it, we play tested it. It's like, this would kind of just be better if it was just kill, and then we'll add the flavor. And yeah, play tested that and felt great. So I'm glad that we're able to, go and flex and find iterations or additions to mechanics we have already in Hearthstone and bring them some of the familiar of Hearthstone to this new mode for Mercenaries.
Yeah, it's been with like other modes, like especially Battlegrounds, it's been quite a journey kind of seeing that evolve into having much more bespoke language and in the case of Battlegrounds minions, like Mercenaries at the gate feels very much its own thing. And I really like having mode-specific language, mode-specific effects, mode-specific minions, all that type of stuff. So seeing that in Mercenaries, that was definitely a plus for me. But let's get into it and kind of talk about like playing Mercenaries and also assembling your Mercenaries, because today's like my first time hands-on with the game, and my brain immediately went to trying to understand coins. I understand that they have something to do with getting mercs, but I guess the bigger question is, in general, how do we get mercs? We're handed one during like the opening tutorial, but then beyond that, we start picking up character-specific coins pretty quick. How do they work? How do we get them? Are they only available in packs?
Yeah, mercenary coins are available through a lot of different avenues. One of the key aspects that we were really leaning into with mercenaries is making sure that any way that you were playing the mode, you were always making progress towards your characters. So the mercenary coins are basically just a currency for each specific merc that you can use to upgrade their abilities and equipment. And so you can earn these from you get them from mercenary packs, but you also get them from playing bounties. When you complete a bounty, you'll get mercenary coins for all the mercenaries that you have in the team that you took with you. So you'll always be making progress on the characters that you take with you. But you can also see at the start of a bounty, there's a chess icon beneath the portrait of the boss. You can click into that and see actually what coins will drop specifically from the boss. So each boss has like a specific set of coins tied to them. So if you really want to, get the Lich King, you can focus on those coins, get enough Lich King coins, and then craft Lich King, which is one of the other avenues that you can use coins for. It's upgrading your mercs' abilities, equipment, and then also crafting them if you don't have them yet.
Okay, so it's a way to kind of target which coins you're going after in different ways, both through who you're taking and also being able to see what rewards lie ahead for you? Okay.
Yeah. On top of that, each mercenary in your campfire will appear with a task, something for you to go and do and accomplish. And the rewards for those give you coins for that mercenary and also for some other random mercenary. And so through those, by completing the tasks for the mercenaries that you care about or that you want to level up at that time, you'll be able to work towards the free-to-play path of leveling up your character's skills and equipment.
Okay, cool. Now, are there also coins in packs?
There are also coins in packs.
Okay. Are those entirely randomized?
I think the answer to your question is yes. Are there sub questions to what you're asking that maybe I can clarify?
Well, I was wondering if there's anything that influences what types of coins you get from a pack.
The mercenary characters have rarity, rare, epic, and legendary, and we're going to drop coins across some rarity spectrum. But
okay.
If you got a chance to jump back in, I actually encourage you just go open the packs that you're getting through the tutorial, and you're going to see a surprising amount of, I'm getting coins for even the big, powerful mercenaries as well. Like, we're really, really working to have this be a free-to-play friendly mode. If you just want to go grind and earn packs, you should be getting, mercenaries to then earn coins through gameplay, or packs to give you a bit of random other coins that you may not have mercenaries for yet.
Okay, great.
My experience so far, so before playing today, there's the Mercenaries pack section on the website, and there's a lot of details and asterisks and bullet points there. But then I jumped into the client today, and I played for 35 minutes in the tutorial, and I had 11 mercenaries by the end of that. And a bunch of coins, and I upgraded a bunch of stuff. So it seems as though, I don't know if either of you work that closely with the system design. The system design of really like the past year to year and a half has been, it's complicated, trust us, it'll be good for you. And this seems to be kind of more of that. We saw that with the new ranked mode. We saw that with core set. We saw that with the rewards track. Took some iteration. We got there. It's fine. And so it seems like Mercs is really doing more of that. We're going to do complicated computational stuff in the back end to make your experience better, but it might be hard to elevator pitch. Is that where you find yourself landing?
Well, I think that I would describe it as we're trying to build a great player-friendly system, and the way to maximize the player friendliness without having to know all of the rules is to actually have some complication behind the scene that we're trying to obscure from you. And so for most players, actually almost all players, they're going to just play and get some mercs. You've got 11 and 35 minutes. That's great. And they're going to get some packs, and they're going to open packs, and packs are going to feel awesome, and everyone will be happy. And going into the nuance and the complexity, all that stuff allows us to make that a great experience for players. Highly engaged players like you and me, yeah, we go in and we understand the rules, and then we go and experience it, and we're like, oh yeah, this actually feels good. And so I'm looking forward to, the masses getting their hands on and seeing, oh yeah, I'm getting like a whole lot of mercs and a whole lot of coins, and, totally can go and just grind free to play and experience the bounties, jump into PvP, complete the tasks to progress on my mercenaries.
So I am definitely sitting here itching the most to return and go try out more of the PvE. So much of my day-to-day Hearthstone right now is PvP. So seeing this PvE system and kind of seeing as deep as it is in Mercenaries is really enticing to me. So I'm kind of curious, like, do you have a way to quantify like how replayable the PvE is? Are there like reasons I would want to go and replay past completed PvE content?
A big focus of this was replayability. And, we introduced a lot of those kind of roguelike elements that you see, like treasures. And so you can go back and replay any bounty, and you're going to get different treasures, different points of interest are going to come up. So your experience with it's going to be different. And also, throughout your playing, you're going to be unlocking new mercenaries that you'll need to take and level up. So, we really wanted you to be able to take those new mercenaries back to older content and still have a good time replaying that. But, each mercenary has their own kind of set of treasures. So when you create a new team of new mercenaries, the treasures that you're going to get are going to be different than the ones you had before. There's a few general ones, but, there's a lot of ones that are like very character specific and make like Zorella's Blinding Luminance ability hit an additional target. And then, I mean, on top of that, we have other systems like PvP, like you were mentioning PvE, but PvP is also just another place where players can kind of jump in and play a little bit and get some rewards. We, have a first win of the day reward and second win of the day. So, we're really encouraging people just to kind of jump in, play different ways, and really have a good time playing all kinds of different mercenaries.
Is there any sort of progression that can't be completed if you're not spending your time between both PvE and PvP? Or is it just, would you be missing out on certain things like that, your first win of the day, your second win of the day sort of thing?
Yeah, it's just, you'd miss out on that first win of the day. But a huge focus of Mercenaries for us was being able to give the players that agency to really play the mode how they wanted. We have a really diverse player base, and there's tons of people who just like PvE content, don't want that overhead of, going up against another player and all that stress. And we have a lot of people who that's all they want to do. They want to, have that competitive moment. And so, yeah, it was a big focus for us to make a bunch of different avenues for all different kinds of players to come in.
And something I noticed with the mechanically speaking, there's a lot of depth to the speed mechanic. Speed is it seems like the core thing that makes Mercenaries interesting and different. When did you all hit on that? Like, was it fully formed by the time you got to the Mercs team, or was that something that was kind of iterated on when you got there?
The speed concept, along with, the concept of the role matching, doing double damage from fighter to caster, caster protector, etc. Those concepts were pretty core to the mode early on. There's, like you mentioned, there's so much depth in speed, and there's a lot of abilities that speed up your team or slow down the enemy team. So there's a lot of just mind games around what you can do with that speed. But yeah, we went through a lot of iterations on it. We tried going highest to lowest and lowest to highest. We tried a million different keywords to try and get the concept across. But I think we landed on a really good spot with speed. And yeah, it adds so much to the gameplay, just trying to map everything out into this one big Rube Goldberg kind of combat phase where you can get everything done.
How intense were the discussions on which speed number is faster, on lower being faster or higher being faster?
I don't know if intense is the right word, but we're all passionate about stuff. But one of the best things about the Hearthstone team is that we're really quick to iterate on stuff. And so, those discussions came up where it was like, oh, should we do higher or lower? And, the next day it was in the game and we were trying it out and playing with it. And, we actually went back and forth, going back and trying it again and again, because, all these new concepts get added to the game as you're playing. And so sometimes it might be good to switch back, but yeah, just tons of iteration and quickly doing it is, really key to nailing all that.
Getting back into PvP, curious how matchmaking works in PvP. Like, how are opponents chosen? Because there's obviously concerns around the rarity of the mercenaries and, whether or not that actually equates to be like a legendary mercenary is straight up more powerful than an epic or a rare and so on and so forth. But more so curious, like, does the matchmaker take your collection, like your mercenaries collection, into account, or is it strictly matching you based on your MMR?
I'll tackle the matchmaking bit, and then I'll throw it to Joe for the power levels by rarity comment. Just a couple days ago, I approved a blog that really details out all the different variables that go into finding you a good match. And you're going to queue up with a party. You've got 6 mercenaries. Those mercenaries have different levels in terms of the XP you've got on them, which dictate, attack and health. They've also got different skills. The skills have different levels. They've got a specific equipment, and the equipment has a level. And then each of those also have alignment. And so what's important to us, though, is that when you queue in PvP, you have a great match. And so we're going to work to find you a great match looking at all of those variables. And if we can't find you a great match, we're going to put you against an AI that will give you a fair match for you to go and play against. And the difference in the experience between PvP and PvE is you don't actually see what the moves are, the abilities of your opponent. You just know that they've queued up based on what their mercenaries are. And then, you sort of have to know what they could be doing in order to go and plan around it. But we have done a lot of work actually to look at those different variables. And I encourage you to check out the blog post when it gets posted. It is yet another one of those things like we were just talking about, where we put a lot of complexity behind the scenes so that as players go in, it's just fun and it just works. I think we've done a really good job of that. And I'll throw it over to Joe to comment on the power level by rarity question.
Yeah. I mean, a big focus for us was making sure that mercenaries all, within a certain synergy really work well together. And in standard Hearthstone, you can bring one of a legendary into your deck, and it's really this big power moment where, you put it on the board, a bunch of stuff happens, and it can really turn the game for you. But that's just kind of one moment. With mercenaries, they stick around for a really long time. So it's very difficult to make like a legendary mercenary that's just crazy powerful, because he's going to be around for much longer than, a legendary minion. So the focus for us with, rarity and especially legendary was more making them kind of the centerpiece of a certain synergy. So if you look at someone like Jaina, she's really great in the Frost team. She has an ability that whenever she, does damage to a person, she also increases Frost damage, which will increase it for your entire party. So she becomes this kind of, character that's really helping that Frost team move forward. But, you can take 6 different mercenaries. You can only have 3 on your board at a time. So, a lot of the focus for us was to make sure that you could take half a Frost team and half a Fire team, and not necessarily take the, legendary with you, but still be able to, hit on all those synergies.
Great. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that today, but I'm glad to kind of have a conversation about that here too, because not going to be relaying every single conversation we had outside of this interview. So, well, as we wind down, kind of curious, I'm sure this is in a blog post somewhere, but it ties into the question, which is like, how many launch mercenaries are there going to be? And then also, can you give us an idea of how many are in development and what we can expect that release pacing to look like with Mercs?
There are 51 mercenaries at launch. I think all the blogs say over 50. There are 51. And we're super excited for players to get their hands on that initial crew. Some of the most awesome, most iconic characters from Hearthstone and WoW, and also the characters that we've been focusing on this year in the narrative that we've got going on. One of the things I think is super cool related to that is the initial mercenaries you get just by completing the tutorial. You get Zyrella and you get Cariel. And that is a really, really powerful combo. Like, you can level that group up and complete all the bounties, totally free to play over time by just playing. Cariel's taunt and heal and Zyrella's do damage and reduce their attack actually work really well. So encourage folks to just jump in and try it out. That combo would definitely be a winning synergy for you. Post-release for Mercenaries, like with our other modes, we're expecting to have regular drips of content. And you can, look similar to Battlegrounds, where we like add a hero or add some minions from time to time. Actually, from time to time being every patch. We're looking to add a handful of mercenaries almost every patch. And some of those are in queue already, and we're excited, eventually to share those when it's their time. And on top of that, Garrett, you asked about PvE and replayability, and we also expect to add additional zones. And zones have bounties, and inside of those, there are different bosses, and so we'll be adding those also regularly.
Can you see my follow-up questions? I feel like you're looking at my notepad.
No, I've done a few of these interviews. Sorry. I could slow down a bit. But yeah, we're expecting to add zones, bounties, bosses, so that there's additional content for players to play. And following, all those, we're, really excited to see what players do at launch, what they're hungry for more of. We've got a team ready to continue to do some fast follow features, and then keep an eye out for, hey, what's the community looking for next? What's the right thing to do to keep Mercenaries players engaged and having fun in this mode?
And we only have time for about one more question here, but I have to ask, Nathan, this is once again your wheelhouse. Diamond cards, mercenaries, portraits, and constructed, battlegrounds, cosmetics, new bartenders, 51 mercenaries, content pipeline. How did assets, how did art and VFX and audio catch up and scale to address all this? Because you're adding a ton of cosmetics and art and voices and incredible diamond animations. The Merc portraits look so cool on the high-end leveled account. Like, they're really, really amazing. They did great work. But I don't know how you had all the people to make this happen.
The team has worked very hard to figure out what good looks like and then scale up in terms of staffing and partnerships with external studios or art outsource houses to help us deliver on these. And I'm really, really proud of the team for being able to pull that off. I think for the Diamond Mercenaries in particular, as we're playtesting the mode and having fun with it and looking to see, hey, what could differentiate our legendary mercenaries, we thought, well, these diamond cards are pretty cool. Like, wouldn't it be cool if, great design point, right? Wouldn't it be cool if, followed by a thing that could be really hard, wouldn't it be cool if we had a diamond mercenary portrait for each of our legendary mercenaries? And we're like, oh, okay, what would that take? How do we do it? Is that possible? What concessions do we need to make? And, some of these things we've been deliberately working to ramp up, establish pipelines, and build sustainability in order to do them. And we're not quite there yet. We definitely pulled out some stops to make this work. And there's other things that you don't know haven't happened because they just didn't come together because we decided to do these things instead. And so the team's been growing. There's about 150 people on the team now, and we're excited to continue to do more and add more for the fans and players of Hearthstone. And with Mercenaries, provide again, totally new way to play Hearthstone and attract another, core group of players who like this type of gameplay.
Well, I believe that's all the time we have for the interview. So thank you both so much for your time today and for answering our questions. And best of luck with the launch, even though this will be posting after the launch. So congratulations on the launch.
Thank you for the luck. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.